Well, it's very clear that my job here is not done. I thought to myself, am I going to stop talking? And turns out, no, I'm not. Big surprise there. Welcome back to the Freedom Pines podcast. I'm your host, Jamie A.B. Today we're talking about Doug Ford and the betrayal that I don't know if other Ontarians are feeling, but I certainly am feeling right now. Because why can Doug Ford get, tea and crumpets with good old Christia, but decides to not only not endorse Pierre, but drag him? Here's the thing. My humble opinion, and this is just alleged, is that I think that Doug Ford called that election very strategically. Because judging by his little cronies being at the conservative convention and them wearing the, what was it? What were they wearing? Something about the Do You Believe the Polls? Yeah, these rich business people were cosplaying as working class people, in my opinion. Like, they looked very out of place for how posh and poised they were, okay? Because this is all seeming a little bit too fishy for me. So I want you guys to listen to this clip from Jamil, okay? Let's listen.
I tried to fix problems in this province, and he kept getting in his way, and all his goons around him all the time. They wouldn't make anything better, and now we're seeing him because this guy's a political genius because he beat Bonnie Crombie and Stephen Del Duca, and now we got to sit around getting advice from him. Well, look, Doug Ford just went through an election. I have differences of opinion with him. I don't like how he's managed healthcare or education, but out of respect, we didn't say anything. Federal party, we didn't get in his way. When it was our turn to run an election, he couldn't stay out of our business, always getting his criticisms and all his opinions out, distracting our campaign, trying to make it about him, trying to position himself as some kind of political genius that we need to be taking cues from.
Was it him specifically? Was it his campaign manager, Corey, tonight? Do you see Doug Ford as a problem for the federal party in the outcome of this race?
I see Doug Ford as a problem for Ontario and for Canada. I think he's not doing a great job in running this province, and now he's trying to exercise his influence over other levels of government, and it's not like this guy is doing anything particularly well.
You did used to work for him.
I did. I'm speaking from experience. I
tried to work. So I'm going to stop that right there. Because I've been looking into moving to Alberta. If Alberta becomes a 51st state, I have to move there. I will be arrested in Canada. If C-63 goes through, because I share, and I am very careful with what I say online. I don't want to incite things. I understand. And if I ever would have wanted a job anywhere professionally, I just have to be careful with what I say. But me talking about my injury has got me banned from TikTok at 13K. Every single video I talk about it where I actually use the correct terms, I have to pretend to be George 1984. Okay? I was banned for missing. Sharing my life experience, coming from the life experience crowd themselves. Okay, so anyways, that's why I have to move to Alberta. But can someone tell me why Alberta? I go to look up, my husband works, like at a certain blue collar job. So the first thing that I do when we look for an area is look where his, skills can be transferred. And tell me why I'm seeing a town that has 4 sawmills. 4 sawmills? 4? We are so worried. Like, if he ever gets fired from his job, we are so worried because Northern Ontario has nothing. Unless you want to work 200 feet, 5 feet underground in the mine, there's nothing else. There's a couple of other mills, literally a couple. And there's when is Doug opening up Ontario for business? What the hell? I had no idea the industry that Alberta has. I can see what is going on. Why is Northern Ontario still unbelievably starved, Doug? What is going on? Why haven't you guys fixed the education system, Doug? Since we don't have a federal government to set a standard it's going to have to be on you, Doug. Yeah, and then what am I seeing lately? That school boards are taking it into their own hands because they're sick of this. Where's our funding going? And it's obviously not just Doug. That's the thing, is that I stand by that. It's not just Doug. It's not Doug. It's everybody complicit in between. Every single person who is ignoring the ethical standard of practice. Okay, Doug, I think, is the only one remaining who was one of the premiers that enforced mandates. Doug gets up, people are like, oh, he's such a progressive. He literally gets up there and tells disabled people that they're faking it. Like, if Doug Ford is your shining example of progressive conservatism, and all of a sudden there's a bunch of left-leaning people saying Doug's doing a good job, by the way. Real left-leaning people, though, the NDP in Ontario are pretty strong. That's why we didn't have a lot of Liberal seats. In my opinion, I don't think the Conservatives are going to forgive him for this, okay? Pierre lost. That means poor Ontario, okay? I am not afraid to up my life and leave. I am not afraid to do the better. Like, this is what people did. This is what my ancestors did. They literally left their place because they were being starved. They were being harmed. And they left. I will be doing the same. But do you think that the Conservatives on Ontario are going to forgive you for this, Doug? Do you think that the NDP is going to sit by and watch you destroy everything about Ontario? Even the NDP wanted to do more for Northern Ontario. I can't believe how abandoned Northern Ontario is. Ontario should be rich. They're going to have to. When Alberta leaves, they're going to have to start tapping into Ontario's natural resources and that ring of fire. How can Doug sit here and know that that exists and not get that going? And the thing is, I voted for Doug. Because what? I want a bunch more Liberals in office? Like, I picked literally the sliver less evil when I voted. And I regret voting. I should have written in Ryan Ross, like my daughter said to do. Because are you kidding? That would have been a better... as if my area, by the way, next video is going to be about Northern Ontario going completely blue. Not completely blue, but mostly blue. Because Ontario has been abandoned. I have seen Doug. Doug has done decent things. The MTO have done great work on the Highway 11. I almost died coming on the way home from Ottawa yesterday because I'm sure you can take a guess. A driver at the end of a passing lane at the top of a hill, a truck driver decided to pass another transport truck and come into my lane. If there was a cliff to the side of me, I would be dead right now. If there was flash flooding like there was 10 minutes up the road, I would be dead right now. So anyways, I've seen him do good things with the MTO. We have free eye exams. I don't know. There's medication is subsidized. Like, we do have some decent things in Ontario. I'm not going to dismiss that. But our two biggest, most massive things is the fact that Southern Ontario has 13 million people in it, you guys. And they are all conservative. Almost all of them voted federally conservative. Doug, you were the better of the options of the three. And Jamil's right. Beating Bonnie Crombie in an election that you called way too early is not an accomplishment. And it almost seems like it was very strategic of you, since you've already met with Mark Carney, meet with Chrystia Freeland on a regular basis. Whose team is Doug on? Is he a conservative? Is he a liberal? And don't tell me that his progressive conservatism... The conservatives don't talk about the gays. I don't know. Like, Melissa Lantsman is gay. I don't know what about Doug would be considered progressive, honestly. But except for the name. And it looks better to Canadians. Give me a break. Okay, I'm also going to make a video about how the left and the right, far left and right, look alike, and where we are in the center, and why Pierre's ideas were even more center than right-leaning. The misinformation in this election was insane, okay? And I don't want all of Canada to become the 51st state. No, I'll move to Alberta. That can become the 51st state. I truly wonder how many hardworking Ontarians are about to leave Ontario. Good luck, Doug, because this is going to be your last 4 years. So we won't forget that. I'll remind people if they do. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in another video.